This is Big Podcast.
It's Build a Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. My name is David Hooper. And you may be wondering what happened to my voice. It's because I'm using the new Focusrite DM1 mic. No, it's not that. I am testing a new mic, but I'm also testing something called Supertone Shift. And this is a real-time voice processor. If you're doing any kind of streaming, if you need anonymity with your guests, this is working live as I am talking into the mic. There is no post-production. As I'm talking into this mic, you are hearing this in real time, but it's not me. This is a character named Zoros. There's a beta test of this right now. It is free. And let me give you an idea of what it can do for you.
It can change your voice into a character named Toby. And Toby has various options. All of these do. You can change the pitch, you can change the volume, you can change the blend, putting more of your voice in with this character's voice. There's something called joy. I'm adding joy, maybe I'm taking more joy away. That's 1.6 joy. This is 0.4 on the joy specter. Saren has a medium joy here of 1. We're going to crank that up to 150. How's that sound? And the blend? Let's take the blend down. It was at perfect 1, and now it is at half. This is 30% blend.
Satirus?
This is Molk. A demon jumped out of my microphone.
This is a woman named Desfera.
And Aaron seems to be a little girl.
Cedric, the old man, and by that I mean older than me.
This is Coco, and this is Dan.
And this is David. As I mentioned, I'm talking into the Focusrite DM1 mic. I'm going to talk about this in a second. First, let's talk about Supertone Shift. Something that might not have been obvious is that not only is this thing correcting pitch, much like auto-tune would, if you're familiar with that effect in music, snaps the vocal to the correct pitch, it's also changing phrases. So when I say, my name is Happy, or whatever the character's name was, I might have said, my name is Happy. And it changes my phrasing. It changes how it comes across. That joy knob changes that. Where somebody's more excited or they're more tranquil. You know, if you've got a sad character, you're going to bend that down, take it toward the bottom. The blend, of course, you can change. It is a very cool thing. You can try it for free. This is a Korean company, and this is in a beta test. So they're looking for people to test it. They are taking suggestions. If they don't have the voice that you want, you can make the voice, or they're taking suggestions. I think there are a lot of opportunities for this. Anonymity is one. If you're interviewing somebody who doesn't want to be known, you can do this in real time. Any kind of fiction work, characters, letter to the editor, comments. There are a lot of options for this. I think this is where we're going in terms of podcasting production. Audiobooks, fiction, all that stuff is going to be more easily done by one person thanks to tools like this. I'd love to know what you think about it. I'm excited about it. I don't necessarily have a use for this on this podcast, but I love having the options. Somebody told me, he said, I'm scared of AI, worried about the content creation, worried about the post-processing. And I told him something a music engineer had told me, old school music engineer. And he said, everybody who loves analog recording has never actually recorded on analog, meaning setting up the tape, getting the tape in alignment, also buying the tape. Those tapes, 2-inch tapes, they were expensive. Losing recordings, having to cut the tape with a razor blade. Digital recording has made our jobs as podcasters so much easier. Same thing for photography. You can try something out. If you don't like it, you can undo it. You could not do that with a razor blade. I mean, maybe you'd have to tape the tape back together. Okay, I don't like that edit, tape it again. And, you know, you could do it kind of, but with analog recording, you were making decisions in a much different way than we have to do with digital recording. I like having the option. If you're interested in trying this out, just kind of a fun thing, novelty thing. Maybe you got kids, read something to them in character. Maybe your kids want to get around and play with it. It's a fun thing. I've got the link, podcast.bigpodcast.com. Before I end this, I do want to talk a little bit more about this mic. This is the DM1 mic from Focusrite. It's a clone of the Shure SM58, 57, if you're familiar with those mics. I'm going into the Vocaster 1 interface. And I love this interface. Speaking of streaming, which is a reason I think you would want to use the Supertone Shift. If you are streaming, the Vocaster 1 is the perfect streaming interface. It's very simple. It's got 3 buttons on it, one of them being a cough switch. So if you're streaming, got to do that, you can mute it, and that's not going to go out to everybody. It's got an auto gain, so you never have to worry about being able to send the perfect signal through to the person on the other end. All of this is done automatically. It's got an EQ switch. If you don't use that auto gain, it has a gain knob that is very big, makes it super easy to get your correct mic levels, and also a volume knob for your headphones. And this might sound silly, but if you can't hear your guest, you're not going to be able to have interaction. And sometimes you've got to ride that volume knob a little bit, especially if you're taking live calls in a stream, because somebody's going to come in really faint and they're not going to be able to be heard. And somebody's going to come in too loud. They're going to be blowing your eardrums out. This thing is great for streaming. Right now, this whole kit is called the Focusrite Vocaster 1 Studio, $99. It is an amazing deal. This thing has the same preamps as the Scarlett series. You might be familiar with these red boxes that a lot of podcasters use. This is what I use in my normal studio, the Focusrite Scarlett 4i4. You might be like me where you've got your main setup already taken care of. What I use this for, and I've been using this for the last year, I use it for Zoom calls. I use it for screen capture tutorials, anything that I've got to do from my desktop where I'm not in the studio. But the other thing about this, at a $99 price point, I know people that have gotten 2 or 3 of these things, and they've got them crisscrossing around the country to different guests that they're interviewing on their podcast. You send one to a guest. Focusrite makes it super easy. I don't know if you've ever used this, whether it's the Scarlett or the Vocaster. It's a USB interface, so you plug it into your computer. Anybody can do that. Then it guides you through the installation process as far as drivers. It sets itself up almost automatically. Click here, let's get a volume check. It's great. So it's going to help you with your tech elements of setting your guest up to get a good recording. The mic is there, the cables are there, headphones are there. How annoying is that when your guest doesn't have headphones and they're listening to you through the speaker and you can hear yourself coming back through the mic and there's that feedback loop? You're not going to have the problem with this setup. It comes in a nice box. So all they've got to do is pack it up, send it off to the next guest. Like I said, if you've got 2 or 3 of them, because things do take a while to get from one side of the country to the other. Some people wait a day or 2 to get to the post office. You still got to work around this stuff. But this is a kit that makes it very easy for you to get great sounding audio from your guests, wherever they are, no matter what level of technical knowledge that they have. I've got the link, podcast.bigpodcast.com, not only for this $99 studio setup, but also for Supertone Shift. Get on there, play around with it. This is where we're going, guys. It's a very exciting time to be in podcasting. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, let me tell you how to do that. I'm going to make it easy on you. bigpodcast.com/subscribe. 1 click is all it takes to subscribe. I've got a button for iPhone, a button for Android, and an RSS feed. I've even got a QR code that you can scan. No matter how you get your podcast, 1 click is all it takes to make that happen. And you can do that at bigpodcast.com/subscribe. Do it now before you forget. bigpodcast.com/subscribe. Go there, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast.